This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good afternoon. The time being 4:44 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting of January 28th, 2021 to order. Before we get started, please mute your microphone during this meeting unless you want to speak. Otherwise, the background noises will interfere with the meeting. As chair of the Tilton Select Board, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis, in accordance with Governor Sununu's Emergency Order Number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically, and these reasons shall be reflected in the minutes. Please note, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which has been authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that A, we are providing a public access to the meeting by telephone. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679. The access code is 817-026-717, followed by the pound key. B, additional public access by video or other electronic means will be available as follows. We are using the GoToMeeting platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me. It's under Town of Tilton/Selectmen. This information can also be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under meeting schedule and agendas. Go to the one that says Board of Selectmen. C, we are providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting via telephone, conference, and by GoToMeeting, and instructions are provided on the Town of Tilton website at tiltonnh.org, as well as the town kiosk outside of Town Hall. D, we're providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting that a member of the public wishes to speak or be recognized during any public comment or public hearing. If you're a member of the public listening in and have questions, please write your questions down, and at the end of each agenda item, I will ask if there are any questions from the public before we move on to the next agenda item. Please state your name and address, and then ask your question. E, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are any problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please email web@tiltonnh.org, which will be monitored during the meeting. F, we will adjourn the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. Please note, all pardon me, all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendant. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Given the unusual circumstances, we will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, Pat Constantino, you're up first.
Constantino present. There is one person in the room and one expected shortly.
Thank you.
Dog,
Peter,
dog present, one dog in the room currently, one at large.
I am certainly present, and there's nobody in the room with me. Eric,
Pyra present, two others in the house, and A bunch of four-legged people in the house.
Outstanding. Scanlon.
John Scanlon, and I am by myself.
Okay. So I bring the minutes of 114 and 123 to the floor for discussion. Are there any changes, additions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none.
123 and 124?
That's 114 and 123.
Thank you.
Okay. I make a motion to accept the minutes of 114:21 as presented. Is there a second?
Irish
Dog second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote. Constantino,
Constantino, yes.
Dog, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Byra,
Ira, yes.
Scanlon,
Scanlon, yes.
thank you very much. I make a motion to accept the minutes of January 23rd, 2021 as presented. Is there a second?
Constantino, second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no other discussion, we'll take a roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Constantino,
Constantino?
yes.
Dog, yes.
Jessamine, yes.
Ira, yes.
Byra,
Scanlon, yes.
all right. Next thing on our agenda will be the police department. We have several people that are leaving, unfortunately, our police department, and we would like to thank them for all of their years of devoted service to the town of Tilton. First up would be, yes, Attorney Jesse Reno Smith. Next is Captain Ryan Martin. That's your cue, Tim. Oh, there you go. Next is Chief Robert Cormier. I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you for all of your efforts on the town or on the town's behalf and wish you nothing but the very best of luck on your next endeavors. Selectman Constantino, would you like to weigh in?
Well, sure. I absolutely would love to. Wow, what to say? It's a huge loss to Tilton. Jesse, is Jesse on the line with us, by the way? Well, he can look at it later. Jesse is going to be a profound loss. He has brought Tilton right straight through to the 20th century with prosecution. His success rate is way, way up there. He's not only done that, but he's also uh, training in our PD to our officers on reports and reporting and how to get success rate there in the courts and bringing the reports to the court successfully. I mean, he's done an amazing job from part-time to full-time to law school, putting himself through law school, and now on to better and bigger things. So I wish him well in his endeavors. Ryan, Captain Ryan, I can't say enough. I mean, that man has been truly a backbone in our agency for quite some time. Um, any time we've ever called on him, he's always been right there uh, for us, with us, and he's just been, well, what can I say? He's just been Ryan, and he doesn't say much, but when you ask him, he's always there um, for us, and it's again another profound loss. Uh, right at the very top, is the chief. We all know the chief. We all love the chief. He's been out and about wherever you are, whether it doesn't matter, wherever you are, he's there. The programs that he's brought to Tilton, the programs that he's helped with Tilton, uh, it's just amazing. I mean, just alone the help that we got with the senior center, with the seniors, and the programs that we have with the seniors now, the safe contracting with the seniors, the calling on the senior center, the ride programs with the senior, the website with the seniors. I mean, that's just that one little tiny little corner of what he's brought for us. Uh, and then you just, you know, just go on and on and on and on with what he's done for us in Tilton. And so I cannot help but think of the loss that we will experience. Um, I wish him well on his new adventures. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I'm not saying goodbye because he's a friend. He's a very dear friend, and I will always be by his side. So I wish you well, Chief, and I know he's on the line. So I guess your family gets to see more of you, which is a blessing. That's it. I think I've
Thank
covered
you
all
very
of it,
much.
right?
Peter?
Thank you, Pat.
I'll try to be a little bit briefer. First and foremost, I want to thank all of the people for their time and service to the town of Tilton. I think all of them, in their own way, provided exemplary services. The town is, to me, eternally grateful for their time and service with the town, and I just want to wish them the best of luck in whatever their future endeavors may be. And thank you for your service.
Eric?
Ooh, I get to go next. Um, I wish to thank all three of them for their time and dedication to the citizens of the town of Tilton. Um, I knew um, Captain Martin from working on the police building study committee and talking to him at various times throughout town. And the chief I knew before, for how many ever years he's been here. I've known him, and he has become a friend. And um, I'm going to miss everyone. So thank you very much for your service. And maybe now we can have a beer.
John?
Let's see. Yeah, I am on. Yeah, I can sincerely concur to the comments that are made by the other selectmen. I think thing that's important that as a selectman and over the years, people have a tendency to call up and complain about different employees or the police or that. And one thing I can say is that didn't happen. We didn't have, these things. Everybody's so easy to complain, and they never give, good recognition to people. But they did for these guys. For the chief, people always said good for him, and along with Captain Martin and Jesse, everybody always spoke good, which is so much harder than to call up and complain. So, great, to our community and municipality. These guys have just done a stellar job, and it's difficult to see them go. I kind of can't wait till I can finally retire in 30 years, but 30 more years, I think. So, it's a great milestone for you guys. And Jesse, he's the family and he's moving up the line. And Jesse started out as, I believe he was a patrol officer. And we've watched, and now we see him going on to such great things. And, a little jealous here. I'm still stuck here being a selectman. But thanks for all of your time. Thanks for all of your time and working, for all these years on the budgets. You guys have always been right there, and purchases and all the hoops we make you go through. You've never complained. You've always just worked with us. I just such gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Captain Martin, we haven't had a chance to really get to know each other all that well, but I know the things that you've done for the department, and I appreciate you. And you're going to be a big loss for the town. Thank you very much. Chief Cormier, much to my chagrin, because I swore I was not going to do this, I became friends with you. And I never thought in a million years that I would be friends with a police officer. I used to be the guy that you used to chase around. You've changed my whole attitudes about policing and about police officers as people. And I thank you. I thank you all for that, because that's been a wonderful thing for me, an eye opener. I would at this time accept any comments from anybody who's in attendance with us today. Jennifer, Lisa, if anybody got any comments.
I think Bob's children are here too.
Nice.
I will start. I
Okay.
have a comment to make, if I may.
Hey,
By all
Jesse.
means.
So I've already said this to Chief Cormier, but as the board knows, the chief really took a chance by hiring me. I was an officer with him for a while. We met up in Plymouth. I've known the chief for a very long time, and when I was in law school, I just kept coming back and heckling him and asking 100,000 times if I could be his prosecutor, and he was took a steadfast approach, I will say, in the beginning, and was not didn't seem overly excited about perhaps hiring me as a prosecutor, especially because I had no experience as an attorney. So I just want to say to Chief, thank you very much. You brought me down to Tilton as a police officer and then allowed me to go before the board and advocate to be the prosecutor here. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today, and I certainly wouldn't be able to, move along and further my career. So I will forever be grateful to you, and thank you very much.
Ditto.
Thanks, Jess. I gotta say, uh, Jesse, I think got everyone's attention in the state, and obviously, he got offered to be an attorney for the city of Concord, which is evident, Jesse, of what a prosecutor you became. I'm not saying this because you're a friend and an employee, but I think you became the best police prosecutor in the state, and I'll say that against any department. And you're gonna do great things in your life. And Cap, I know we're only one room away, but over the 14 years I've been here, you've always been here for me. And anything I needed, you always did it and never complained. And then my Rotary partner and Patriots partner out there, Chuck, I can see you and Lisa out there. The one thing great about Tilton, when I came here, I didn't know anybody. And for a kid that didn't grow up in Tilton or know a soul here, you guys kind of all adopted me and made me feel like I did grow up here and like I was family. And I'll never forget that. And I think I became friends with all of you guys on the board, and I will stay friends with all you guys on the board. And I think, my kids and my mom were on the phone, and Jennifer, because Tilton became part of my life, and in a way it became part of theirs. I mean, the kids kind of grew up knowing Tilton, and I think they felt like this was a second home for them. And I see Brittany out there, and Doug, I can't say his face, but I know he's there. And they would always brag about Tilton and their dad in Tilton. And so it's pretty neat to get all you guys on the phone together. I wish we could be in one room together. But I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen for giving me all the opportunities you gave me over the last 14 years, because I had a tremendous amount of opportunities while I was here. And I really feel blessed. And I want to thank Jesse and the Cap for being by my side the whole time I was here, and then my family for being patient because I was always working and working long hours to help make Tilton a good place, and my family kind of put up with that. So to my daughter, my son, and my mom out there, and Jennifer, thank you guys for putting up with me and not always giving you as much time as I probably should have. But Tilton will always have a special place in my heart. And when you guys have events, I'll always try to be at them and do whatever I can do to continue to make this town rock, because I think it certainly is, and it's got the attention of the rest of the state as a great place to live and work. So, Mr. Chair, Joe, for my last meeting, thank you for hosting this and letting us all jump on the call with you guys.
It's our pleasure, no doubt. Captain Martin, would you like to say a few words?
I would. I just want to thank the board and for all the years of support and opportunity that they gave me. I want to thank the chief for seeing that Jesse had the passion to do the prosecution, because I did not, and I really didn't like it. And I want to thank Jesse for taking that position and running with it. He is he's a great force to be reckoned with in the legal system, and I'm sure he's going to succeed down in Concord. Yeah, it's been a long time here at Tilton. I started back in '98, and I've seen a tremendous amount of changes just geographically throughout the town. Where when I started, there was still the Wayland Motel up the street. There was Ryan Ford Tractor, and there was just woods where there was Lowe's. And you know, the town has just grown and grown and grown, and change has occurred every year. And it looks like there's more change to come. And I've been proud to be a part of that change. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to chime in?
I would.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank all of you for what you have done for the town of Tilton. I was born and raised here, and I'm happy to be involved with what we do and what you guys have helped make this town. Bob, you and I have kind of, you're all right. We kind of become best friends. And it's like a double-edged sword. I've heard this from a lot of people. The fact that they're happy for you, but it sucks. And I kind of have those sentiments, but obviously everything you've done, you deserve whatever your future may be. Maybe we'll get to actually see each other a little bit more lately, because we haven't, because of life. But I just want to thank all of you for what you've done, and we'll miss you. I mean, the town of Tilton will definitely be different without you. I appreciate everything you've all done.
Hear, hear, Chuck. Is there anybody else would like to sing the praises of our police department? They're deserving.
Very deserving.
Who's that behind you, Chief?
You know, Joe, I think if we can get past this COVID thing, it would be nice to have, a barbecue or something, down in the park for everybody to show you guys, and so the town can all attend to a show what we really mean. It's it's kind of foreign to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see if we can do that, after this all passes.
It doesn't do it. It doesn't kind of do it justice to say goodbye via computer screen. It really doesn't. I mean, I'll probably see Captain and Chief tomorrow, but it doesn't do justice being able to say goodbye on a computer screen. It really doesn't. Not for all they've done.
Joe, I think we could definitely put a cookout together. We've done a couple of them.
I've got a grill.
And I know Chuck would help. I'll volunteer.
Yay, Chuck. Well, I wish this was the point where we took a break and had cake and coffee and mingled for a few minutes, but unfortunately, we can't do that tonight. So, if there's nobody else that would like to speak at this point, okay, I think we're going to move on to our next agenda item. Captain, Jesse, Chief, Jennifer, everybody, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Joe, just remember that there was always only one police officer that you liked, apparently, but there's also one attorney that you've come to like. So you can still give me a call even after I'm gone.
If I was going to like any attorneys, Jesse, it would be you.
You keep reminding him of that, Jesse. You might just convert him.
I'll keep trying.
All right. Wherever you are,
Thank
just
you very
remember
much. You did a heck of a job for Tilton, Jesse.
Jesse, remember, wherever you are, remember us.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Thank
I'll
you.
stay in touch. Thank
All
you
right.
all very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you all very much.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
See you. Bye. The next thing on our agenda, because time marches on, is the finance director, Tim Pearson. Tim, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Boy, that's tough to listen. Gosh, it's really gonna be just gonna miss those guys in a lot of ways.
I can't hear him.
I put up in your
Tim, we can't hear you. And we can't see you.
Can you hear
There
me?
you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's strange. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
No, not well.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
It's very muffled.
Can you see me?
Over this. How's that? Is that better? Better?
Yeah,
No.
little. It's just barely.
Yeah. Can anyone see me?
No.
What is going
Okay,
on?
can you hear me now? Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Yes, Tim, that's better.
Okay. All right. I just have a small item for you. It's for our tax anticipation note. It's an engagement letter that I need to present to the board for signature. In prior years, before, about 2 years ago and before, we were able to provide the bank with the required documentation, which is a significant amount of financial documentation, authorization showing, all sorts of legal things, they're legally authorized to borrow money, and we were able to secure an attorney for that just for an hour or two's worth of work. The issue has become over the years, I guess, there's more and more liability for attorneys doing that where they're not bond counsels. And so this last year we had difficulty securing someone, and we were routed to Divine Millimet, who we had used years ago with the Lockmere sewer project, and in the long-term bond for that. And they're also the ones representing us for the construction bond and long-term bond for the police station. So they've presented an engagement letter for the tax anticipation note, which is estimated to cost between let's see, $1,250 to $2,500. I expect that to be on the lower end of the range because there's some duplication with some of the other documentation they'll have to review for the long-term bond. But I did want to bring it to the board. There are 5 signature places, and I would just ask that a motion be made to sign the engagement letter for Divine Milliman if you're in agreement.
So moved. Is there a second?
So second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions for Tim? Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Please signify by saying aye. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Cog, yes.
Jessamine, yes.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
The motion carries.
Great, thank you very much. It's in your sign now portal when you get a chance, and I appreciate it. That's all I had for you at this point.
Okay.
Thank
We're
you.
moving right along here.
Told you I'd be quick.
Next thing on the agenda is the Selectmen's reports. Selectman Constantino.
Okay, I just have 2 things. One is a Meals on Wheels that is happening. This is from Cindy Clarenbach from the community, our program director at the Senior Center. She said, "Hi Pat, I hope this finds you well. In March, CAP is doing a March for Meals Facebook campaign and silent auction to raise awareness of and money for CAP Meals on Wheels. We're looking for community leaders who would be willing to submit a photo to me," that's Cindy, "or have one taken in a quote explaining why they believe Meals on Wheels is an important program for their community. This would be posted to Elder Services CAP Facebook page sometime in March. I'm hoping you would be willing to do this," which of course I am, "and wondering if you know of 1 or 2 other community leaders who would be maybe willing to participate. So I'm asking the board, Jeannie, Tim, if they would be willing to do that. A picture of themselves and a quote explaining why they believe Meals on Wheels is an important program for our community. Anybody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure,
So,
absolutely.
so Joe and Jeannie
You bet.
sure.
and Tim?
You got it.
Okay. Anyone else?
When
Takers?
do you want it by, Pat?
And John, we need it, we have to have it by February 22nd.
No problem.
Got some time, all right? Okay, the other thing that I have is to update you on mediation in a non-meeting. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Selectman Fogg.
Yeah, the only thing I'll have tonight is, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks ago, I had asked about what had happened to both the planning and zoning logs showing cases and where they were, and the previous cases. If you recall, when Dari was here, there were many years worth of cases. You could go to the website and see what happened, when, where, and how, and that disappeared. And I just wondered, is it coming back?
Jeannie, do you have any input on this? Did you talk with Leanne and?
No, it would be Tim. It would be Tim.
I can address it. I have spoken with Leanne, and we have discussed an easier structure. One of the things that it required a lot of time before on Dari's part to do that, and we've got the structure. We just got to get the content in there, but it will be coming shortly. So it should be available, I would think, within, I mean, the structure is done. It's just a matter of getting the content in then.
Peter?
Thank you, Tim. I'm done, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'd just like to remind people out there once again that the 2020 municipal parking stickers are expired. So this is a reminder that now's the time to get your 2021 municipal parking stickers. Due to COVID-19, you need to call the police department directly to make an appointment to get your sticker. For those listening, the direct line to the police department is 286-8207. The filing period for election positions in Tilton closes tomorrow. In-person submissions can be done by making an appointment. If you have any questions, please call the town clerk's office directly at 286-4521, extension 104. The board needs to decide who we're dedicating the town report and the memoriam section. We usually have a dedicated to and an in memoriam part. The time is now. I'd suggest that we each send an email to Jeannie Forrester, and she'll compile them and send us a like a list of those names that she's received, so that we can up or down at that point. So please make your submissions. My sheet says hand a piece of paper to Jeannie, but you could email her and let her know, and we can move on with that section.
Can we
The
get a
board
list?
decided a few. Say what
Can
now?
we get a list of the previous winners so we don't rename someone that's already received the award, Joe?
Yeah, I'm not sure how we'd go about that necessarily, but Jeannie, could you take a look at that?
Good, but it's like, don't know.
All right,
We got.
don't bother.
It's not about bother. It's
I-
about having enough hours in the day at this point for
Yeah.
these people.
I think that
Copy.
I think that if you send me names, I mean, how far back do you want to go, Peter? I don't know.
Don't bother. I'm done. It's fine.
Okay. The board decided a few weeks ago to maintain the status quo on keeping town buildings open by appointment only until February 1st. We agreed to revisit the issue at tonight's meeting. I'd like the board to weigh in on whether we should maintain the status quo through the month of February or until March 1st or some other date. The employees have been polled just to see how they feel, and their feeling is that we should continue as is for now. Is there any feelings amongst the board? Pat?
I would go status quo because the numbers haven't gone down any, and I think we're all getting. I shouldn't say we all getting the vaccines are coming into the state in the month of February and March, so we should probably readdress it in March. So I would go status quo till March 1st.
Peter?
No problem.
Eric? Can't hear you, Eric.
That's because I was muted. Sorry.
There you go.
Status quo.
John?
Yeah, keep it.
Okay. There you go. I don't know if we have a consensus to maintain the status quo just the way it is now for all town buildings until the last meeting in the month of February, at which time we will reassess the situation. Objections? Seeing none, there you go, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Okay. I will just say winter parking ban, but I don't bore you with the details of that. Next up is Eric Pyra.
There we go. At the Tuesday night's planning board meeting, at the end of the meeting, Leanne brought up that the Anchorage property has some renewed interest in it, and of particular attention is the zoning that is on that piece of property, where I feel that that is a jewel here of our natural resources here in the town of Tilton. And currently, the way that that land is zoned, they could put storage facility there, and I don't think that's what we want here in the town of Tilton on our lake. So I think this is an opportunity to work with some type of economic development, work with the zoning, and whoever the interested party is, to work with them to make that really something that we can be proud of here in the town of Tilton. And I think the planning board and the zoning board are going to have to work, and the board of selectmen have to work with the land use office to make it happen. We didn't get a lot of details, but the eye-opening thing was that they could potentially put storage facility right there on the lake.
Okay. Do you have suggestions about how this works, or?
I don't yet, because I mean, basically we've just been. It was to say it was conceptual, to say it was deep, that would be incorrect. It was mentioned that the person that she's met with has mentioned that the potential for that, and some of the projects they want to do, it could be condominiums, it could be, there's certain types of things that would make sense that are not permitted in that zone on that piece of property. So it's something that we're going to have to look at in the next year, I think. I don't have suggestions yet because I haven't seen a conceptual plan yet.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, that was all I had today. Oh, wait, Pat had a question though.
Oh, Pat?
Wasn't that zoning changed not too long ago in that area? Is that why that they're restricted to not build anything but storage in that area? Because I remember back a while where they wanted to sell a portion to the town, and it wasn't restricted at that time. So I'm just wondering what now restricts them? Is it the change in the zoning?
I think it is the change. Two of the previous things that we've had conceptually there that haven't come to fruition is, one was a park trailer type, or park house, whatever you want to call it, type proposal, and the other one was, and that would have been, I think a couple hundred units there, almost like not like an upscale mobile home park, for lack of a better comparison. And then the other side that we had conceptually again was someone that wanted to put, I believe it was 36 homes there, seasonal. And this other piece, the other added to this is one of the things they would like to do is year-round use, where these other things were not allowed. I think again because of the zoning, not allowed for year-round use. You couldn't do year-round.
Got it. I would love to see the town work with the developer in that area. I would really prefer to see some type of development rather than storage containers up there because of the beauty of the lake, for sure. So whatever, I don't know what the next step is, and you said they went conceptual to did they go to planning or did they go to zoning, did you say?
They went to planning, but they didn't present anything. It was
It was
Leanne
just
mentioning
it was just an idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So perhaps we need to find out what the steps are because I'd like to see that come to fruition.
Me too.
Peter, did you have any question? Did you have a question? Pete? No?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody else has a question for Eric? Okay, is that it, Eric?
That is it.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much. Selectman Scanlon.
Sure. So, Budget Committee did not meet last night. Um, so they're just waiting on the numbers from us pretty much. And, with all the changes, it just, it'll be off till next week and we should be able to come up with the numbers. The other thing is we are on the Budget Committee looking for people to be members of the Budget Committee. This is a really important committee in the town, as they are the ones who produce the budget that goes before the legislative body. Um, so it's a lot of common sense you need, and there's a lot of people on there, and there's a lot of good discussion. But we also have a lot of openings that will be next year, and we need to fill them. So if anybody wants to step up and run for budget, that would be really super. That's about it. I heard the thing on the about the Anchorage, and that must be like tens of millions of dollars for sale. As I believe they boast a mile of frontage on Lake Winnisquam, and the thing that stunned me is that for somebody to say, if you don't allow me to build condominiums, I'm going to put storage in. Now, think about it. If you have that much frontage, do you think that it would be profitable to spend that much money to put in storage? Or is that just saying, unless you allow me to do this, I'm going to do that? So we got to be careful there, and not just get forced into something that's not what we want or against the code, and to change building codes just because somebody said they'll put storage in instead. But, and so I'm sure there'll be some good debates on that. That's
Good
about
point,
it. Thank
John.
you.
Good point, John.
Okay. Is there anybody out there who's a member of the public that has questions for any of the selectmen? I guess not. So the time being 5:32, Jeannie Forrester, Town Administrator's Report.
All right. I have two action items for the board. One has to do with the new police department. And when we get to the point when we are thinking about doing a ribbon cutting, I wanted the board to weigh in on whether or not they want to have plaques. I sent you with my report two examples of what we did in Meredith when I was on the building committee for the Meredith Police Station, and they had two plaques, one that noted the building committee members, and the other plaque noted the selectmen in the year that the building was finished. And did anyone get a chance to take a look at those?
I did, and
Yes.
I'm in favor of it.
As
So if,
am I.
okay. Peter, Eric, John.
I'm in favor of it. I liked it.
Go
Peter?
for it.
Okay.
John?
No, I didn't get the opportunity to look, but I think some type of plaque would be nice.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll get the quotes and bring it back to the board with the, the layout and the names, and you can take a look at that. The second item on the action list is Chuck Mitchell is in the process of planning for the election and the deliberative session, and he wanted to know if the board was planning to offer any kind of refreshments for the deliberative session. He felt that it would encourage people to remove their masks, and he opposes it, but he wanted to find out what the board thought.
I agree with Mr. Mitchell. Is there anybody who doesn't?
I think maybe, if we provide bottles of water that people could bring back to their social thing, but not cups or food and that, just bottled water.
If we don't provide refreshments, then are we going to say not to bring any refreshments in on their own? How's that going to work?
That's what worked the last. That's how it worked the last time. If you wanted to bring individually wrapped things, Chuck allowed it, but there was very, very little of that. And I would be in favor of Mr. Mitchell's suggestion that we don't provide snacks or meals or what have you. But I liked Pat's, or I liked the suggestion of bottled water.
But if you're allowed to bring in, this is the deliberative session. This isn't the voting.
Mhm.
So this is the deliberative session. So if people are going to be there for 2 or 3 hours, they're going to pack a snack in their bag, and they're going to take the mask off to do it anyway. So we got to think about that. We as a board have snacks at our table at the front with some bottles of water or Diet Coke, whatever. And we take our mask off to drink, and we take our mask off to eat a piece of candy, whatever it is. So if you go with Chuck's suggestion, which I'm not against, by the way, I'm not against, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Are we going to say no to everybody bringing snacks in because they're going to be taking their masks off to do it? John's got his hand up.
John.
Yeah, after Chuck's suggestions and how they will lay it out that people will be socially distanced, I like the idea of the BYOB, bring your own brownie, and bring your own BW, water. Or we'll supply bottled water for them. But everybody will be socially distanced. And if they bring their snack, they're sitting in their seat and they can open up their snack away from everybody and do it. It's when they have to go up to a table and start standing around and conversing.
And congregate, and that's
So the
what you don't
BYO
want.
brownie is good.
So we let Mr. Mitchell handle it?
Yeah, we'll just say no snacks will be provided by the town of Tilton, a coffee, so that will eliminate the congregation that usually happens during a break or in the morning before we start deliberation. That way, if we say everybody bring their own, there will be bottled water, then that might cut it down a little bit when they're socially distancing in their seat. But Peter's got another suggestion. I'm sure he's got his hand up.
Yeah, Peter.
To follow Chuck's line, I would say due to COVID, we provide nothing this year. However, alert the taxpayers and let them know that they can bring their own. So they can bring their coffee, bottled water, Diet Coke, brownie, whatever. But we're not going to provide anything that will reduce the congregating to some extent.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. John is a yes. Eric?
I'm with Peter.
Okay,
So,
there you have it,
Peter,
Jeannie.
Peter, could you say that one more time?
Back on. Okay. So, Jeannie, the town will provide nothing. In the past, we've done coffee and stuff. Alert the taxpayers to that with like the message board, whatever. But also with the caveat, you may bring your own stuff in. We're not going to discourage that. So, bottled water, but it has to be something containable because when we're in the high school gym, they don't want liquid spilling onto the floor, even though they have a rubber mat over it.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Peter.
I gotta inject at this point that I'm gonna miss Judy Tilton's creamsicle whoopie pies. Thank you for your service, Judy.
You can stop at the house and pick one up and bring it.
Maybe I will. Okay, Jeannie.
So the only other items I have, they're all FYI. You can, because you got that information later, I don't think that's anything you necessarily want to act on tonight. The Lawson Group, did the air quality assessment, and basically they said the air quality was good. They did have a number of recommendations to do cleaning some things that I think would be inexpensive to make the air quality better. We did note that there is mold downstairs in the bathrooms that should probably be cleaned up, but in general, they said the air quality was pretty good. And then you'll note that there's a,
Can I
there's
ask
a,
you a question on that? Is that
sure.
something that we go back on? Is that something that we could have our cleaner do that on, or do we have to have a mitigation to go downstairs in the bathrooms and clean the mold mitigation? Well, no.
I need to look at more closely. Like I say, I haven't read it in depth. I read the recommendations and I read the executive summary. So let me go back and look at that.
Got
I'm
it.
guessing if it's mold, it's something. I don't know if that's something we should be handling, but I just need to look at it.
Got it. All right.
And you'll see that there's a small claim action that the town is named in along with the sewer commission about a resident being illegally billed. And you'll see that there's a letter from a local resident asking the board or the police department to take action against a resident for a stalking order. And that's all, I think, familiar to all of you. So we can discuss this next week after you've had a chance to read through everything and see if you want to take any action on either.
Have you forwarded this complaint to the police department, Jeannie?
They had one hand delivered to them, so they
Okay.
have it.
I have a question.
Eric?
There's one, it made reference to a bunch of attachments. I didn't seem to see the attachments.
Are you talking about the last one?
Yeah.
So it's quite a thick file, and if you want to see the attachments, I would recommend you come into town hall and look at that. It's a lot of paper.
Alrighty, I'll look forward to it.
Jeannie,
Yes.
regarding the small claims issue, I would think when it goes to court, the town portion would get thrown out because the town would have no jurisdiction. It's a sewer commission issue, so that's where it would stick.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So that's all I have. And I see that Abe Gilman is on.
Oh, how wonderful.
Unless anyone has any questions for me.
I don't. I just want to thank you and Tim both for the last couple of weeks. You've been our rock behind everything. So thank you.
It's been
I'll
fun.
second that.
I know what it's been like, so that's why I'm thanking you publicly.
Thank you. It's what we're here for.
Okay. Well, we're a little early here. You're an hour early, officer, and thank you very much for that. So I would turn the floor over to you so you can give us an update on training.
Okay. Good afternoon. So, yeah, I was cooking a little fish and I was like, well, I guess we're early today. So, don't mind me. And I worked to midnight, so I look a little sleepy. I just got up. So we had our first training, FTO training, this week. It was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with GSPCC, which is the Granite State Police Career Counseling. And pretty much it was an FTO class. It was a 3-day course. We were going to have it at the new police department, but since everything got pushed back, we ended up going to, and there's the pictures. We ended up going to the Franklin Savings Bank, which is the community learning center. They were nice enough to let us use that building. There was roughly 28 people from that class, or officers from all over the state. I think there was one from Maine and then maybe one or two from Massachusetts. I'd have to look at the pretty much the roster of all the class. But as you can see, we made it work with the COVID. We wanted to keep the spacing. So this FTO class is great. So just real quick with the FTO program, we go through the San Jose model throughout the country. And GSPCC is what they do is they they bring an officer from San Jose and teach this class. Some other classes that have the FTO training, they pretty much go through manuals and things that they have. But this was a retired officer from San Jose, and he's up to par with all of the stuff. So it was really, really good training and a lot of good benefit to bring to the police department in the future. And we're probably going to schedule these at least twice a year. And then to just switch gears too. So as of right now, we have 25 classes that are scheduled between now and June. They range from dark web investigations, dispatch classes, juvenile law, first responder, FBI leader. I was able to get that, and also some of the Reed interview and interrogation classes. So all good stuff. Once we get into the new police department, it's going to be one of those things, trial and error, trying to figure out with Tim and the sound, the audio, all the good stuff, the visual, just to try to make everything work just right and doing all the steps that you need to do to start a class and get it going. Planning and getting everything together is just the tip of the iceberg. It's, letting them in the morning, trying to get the parking down, making sure refreshments, and then now with COVID, spacing, and then cleaning the rooms every night, making sure everything's sanitized before every class. So it's going to be a lot of work, but it's a lot of great training that's coming into the police department. And it also helps the police department and the officers to get these free classes, because roughly every class gives between, depending on the attendance, gives between 3 to 5 free classes. So those are, each person is usually, each class is $500. So times that by 3 to 5, and we're getting free seats that we're able to send our officers to all these classes if we can, fill their shift for the night or for the day and do some shift adjustments, because it's only going to benefit the town. Each person if we stack the rest of the year, you could look at almost 40 to 50 classes coming through the Tilton Police Department. And if you send at least one person to each of these classes, that's, you just do the math. It's exciting to know that we're going to have all that training into Tilton. So,
Abe, who in our agency attended these classes?
well, because of the attendance, we weren't able to send anybody. So the thing is, with this class, it was kind of a last minute add-on. I didn't want to go into January, but the instructor was doing a 2-day course in Nashua, and it was a supervisor FTO course. So they really wanted to do a normal FTO, which is a normal a patrol officer doing an FTO class. So they wanted to kind of have him come from San Jose, do the 3 days of the FTO regular class, and then go down to Nashua and do the supervisor FTO class. So we were able to accommodate that, thinking that it was going to be ready, and it was not. And then with everything, everything that's been going on with, officers going to other places, we just didn't have the staffing to be able to send them. But my plan at this point was not to send any FTOs just because we're going to have this class again. It was going to be the FTOs we have right now. So myself, Officer Ort, Officer Trott, and Officer Opie-Jack are all FTO certified. And I just wanted to get them in this class so we're all on the same page and we're all going off the same platform. And then as we move forward, we can add more and send more patrol units to these classes. So we were able to give a free class to Northfield. They weren't able to get enrolled in time. It filled up within a couple months, if that. I think it was like maybe 6 weeks this class filled up. And Northfield asked, and we didn't have any openings. So what I did, I was able to give them a free spot, free of charge, because we host the class and we were able to do that. So they were able to get one of their officers FTO certified, which is going to help them train some of their new officers in the police department. So
very nice.
Anybody else have questions for Officer Gilman? Jeannie?
Not really a question, but just a comment. I do want to point out, I'm sure you all are aware, but I think it's noteworthy that, you all know that Abe works on the night shift, midnights to 7 in the morning?
yeah, 9 to 7.
9 to 7? Okay, 9 to 7. That he's taking this on as well as what he's doing now. And that requires, him staying after to clean up, getting up early in the morning to, get the instructors where they need to be, cleaning up. I mean, he's got his wife involved in it. She gets to help him clean and sanitize and set up, and I really appreciated the extra effort you put into doing this, because it does heighten the profile of the town of Tilton by offering these classes. And any one of you who's ever organized anything, that to make it look seamless and go off well requires a lot of work on the front end. So I just want to thank Gabe for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Abe.
Thank
And
you.
your wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's a trooper. So I don't know if she
Is
had
she
an
really
option. It was
Married
like,
to a
hey,
trooper?
really a trooper?
no, she's a trooper, as in I kind of coaxed her into, hey, we're gonna go to Hannaford and we're gonna grab some groceries. I need to make a pit stop real quick, and but she was good. So
Mr. Chairman?
And Officer Gilman, I understand you're taking on some extra responsibility at in your role as a police department member, and I thank you for stepping up into that. How does that increased role fit in with being the training officer?
Are you talking about our?
Am I not supposed to be talking about this?
Well, I think the board was going to make a formal offer in non-public. I think maybe.
Never mind. We'll be talking to you later, buddy.
It's actually
I was
right
not
after.
aware, John.
It's
John.
right after this. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I heard, Dave, that was nice was reaching out across the river. Sometimes that river can get pretty wide, and that's really good to show that we're all working together and we cover each other, for all that. And we're going, as we do some rebuilding and that we're going to need them a little bit. And I think that was awesome for you to reach out across the river.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
are there any other questions for Officer Gilman? Okay, is that it?
Good.
Abe, from you?
Nope, that's it for
Okay.
me. I appreciate you having me, and we're gonna keep adding classes and make Tilton Police Department the best department in at least the central New Hampshire. I don't know if I can compete with some of the big agencies, but we're gonna do a great job of getting this training and getting everybody happy. So I'm glad.
And you're going
Thank
to join
you.
us in non-public, right? Babe?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you in a few minutes then,
All right.
Officer Gilman. The time being 5:52 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to move into non-public session for RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, paragraph 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against them, unless the employee affected, number one, has a right to a public meeting, and number two, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. Is there, oh, wait a minute, I've got more. RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, paragraph 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee. And RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, paragraph 2C, matters which, if discussed in public, would adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. We expect to be back into public session at approximately 8:30. Do I have a second?
Constantino, second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no discussion, Roll call vote, please signify by saying,
One minute.
John,
No. 2.5 hours?
what my paper says, John, and I'm hopeful we're
Okay.
back much sooner.
Yeah, people might want to check back just every once in a while, just in case we do come back a little sooner.
I'm really motivated to move us along, so try 7:30.
We're an hour ahead of schedule.
I know we are.
How'd that happen?
We'll fix that.
I'm fast. That's all. Okay then.
All right, Constantino, yes.
Cog, yes.
Jessamine, yes.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, I'll see you on the other side.
Great.
This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome back to the public session. I'd like to make a motion to see the reasons still remain. Is there a second? Okay.
Right.
This conference will now be recorded.
Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as the need still remains. Is there a second?
Constantino, second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Constantino?
Constantino, yes.
Cog, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Ira?
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, the motion carries. I have the following announcements to make. The Selectmen have named Officer Abraham Gilman as interim sergeant effective February 1st. The Selectmen have entered into a contract for an interim police administrator at a rate of $60 per hour for 36 hours a week, effective January 29th. An announcement will be made tomorrow at a police department staff meeting. The Selectmen have entered into a contract with Municipal Resources Incorporated to begin a search for a new police chief. Effective January 31st, Lieutenant Nate Morrison will begin his retirement, and the Selectmen have accepted his resignation. If there's no other business, I would make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:48 p.m. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, may I ask one question?
Pat?
My understanding that the sergeant's, the motion for the sergeant was effective immediately.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. I made the motion.
The PAR.
And I stand corrected. The appointment is effective immediately.
It's
Is there any other business? Chief, Tim?
about the sergeant.
We'll have to sign another PAR because that, we made the motion for effective immediately.
Right, and that's not what the PAR says.
That's not what the PAR says, I don't think.
AR says 31st.
Okay, so we need to re-sign another PAR.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just.
Okay, it's all of that
Are we
crystal
sealing
clear
the
now?
minutes of the
Say what now?
non-public? Are we sealing the minutes of non-public?
We sealed the minutes. We sealed them. Minutes are sealed. I made the announcements of decisions taken in non-public session.
I just didn't hear a motion after we came out. Maybe I paying attention.
You must have missed it because I motioned to seal the minutes of the non-public session as the reasons
Oh,
still
okay.
remain.
Getting late. Sorry, Joe. I
No,
apologize.
we're good, John. We're good. Is there any other business to come before the Board of Selectmen this evening?
Just
Seeing none. The time being 7:50 p.m. I would like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
Fogg, second.
Okay, Fogg or Scanlon, John had his hand up. In any case, it's non-debatable. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Roll call vote.
Constantino, yes.
Fogg, yes.
Jessamine, aye.
Barbara, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
We stand adjourned. Just a reminder, we're going to have a non-meeting following this to get an update on the CBA negotiations. So please stay.